at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, it's too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live lives on a small screen nation. We control the airwaves.
All right. What's going on, Bolts Nation? We got another game tonight. Tampa Bay Lightning at the Boston Bruins up there at the Garden. 7 o'clock. Local. Probably about a 7:06 puck drop as we are used to at that time slot. Yeah, big news coming in. Both teams have kind of struggled coming out of the break. Both teams 1 and 2. Looking for some consistency that they had going into the break. One of the big storylines of tonight's game, absolutely. Brad Durant Marchand skating his 1,000th game appropriately against the Lightning. That's at home. Good for him. You know, we all hate him here, but definitely that kind of guy that everyone says he hates to play against him, but you want him on your team, right? So the Liquor gets 1,000. So we'll see. The big story with that is you look at the projected lineups, and Montgomery said that he moved Marchand up to that top line after yesterday's skates. Marchand, Coyle, Pasternak on that top line. Specifically, he said to match up against that top line of Cooch, Point, and either Stammer or Hagel. You know, pick your poison with the third person on that line, because all three of those guys, aside from Cooch, are playing at about a point per game this year. So, yeah, that's going to be a big thing. Tanner Jeannot is back for the Bolts. Looks like he will be on that fourth line with Glendening and Chaffee based on yesterday's lines in practice. Stamkos was on that top line in practice yesterday, but again, with Cooper, it's all just about how he feels in the game and how he feels the matchups are going. But it looks like Isamont, Mott, Sherry on that third line, Jeannot, Glendening, Chaffee on the fourth line. Like I said, Hagel, Cirelli, and Paul on that second line, which I want to see more of. I want that line to gel. I feel like they have all the tools to play well together, Hagel, Cirelli, and Paul. And it just seems like Cirelli and Paul just can't figure out what's going on. Hagel has played brilliantly no matter where he's been slotted in that top six this season. He's shown us everything that we need to see for what we gave up to bring him in. And he's definitely putting up the points, and his raise is going to be well earned next season. But really, it comes down to that second line. Nick Paul got an opportunity on the power play. He's coming in kind of hot. Cirelli finally converted on a breakaway in the game, 2 games ago. So we're looking at some kind of consistency from those guys. Excuse me. Still fighting off a bit of a head cold this week. We're looking for more consistency out of those middle six. That's really what we're looking for in this team. Looking to get a little bit more consistency offensively as well, in general, right? We're talking about a team that they're a little bit down in the goals for this year and goals against average. It's a little too even, right? So, yeah. That being said, we're looking at Pasta and Cooch are just tearing it up this year for both teams. They're tied at 33 goals apiece, but obviously we know Cooch is out there leading the points race because his assists are still otherworldly. It's his goals that are up this year that has got him at the top of that leaderboard right now. We're looking at the last 5 games. We've got 9 points the last 5 games for Cooch, 5 goals for Hagel, and Pasternak is just doing everything for Boston. 8 points in the last 5 games, 3 goals, and a +6. So that's the story on the top forwards right there. You want to see what Pasta and Kucherov are going to bring to this, because right now they're 2 of the best guys in the NHL doing what they do and leading their team. You know, I don't think either one of these teams would really be where they are right now without those 2 guys. So we're looking at Vasi back in net. He seems to be kind of getting a little bit better. That game against the Islanders, was, that was Johansson in there on the back-to-back. So he played pretty good overall against the Rangers. I don't necessarily think that was really on him coming out of the break. And he played well against Columbus. So it was really the guys that let off their foot on the gas in the third period that led them back to that. But Vasi played very well. So looking to see him keep his momentum. And this is a big test for the Lightning again. We continue to talk about the road woes. The Lightning are not road warriors. They need to find something to go out and win these games. They beat Boston at home. They lost to Boston on the road, which until that game against the Islanders last Thursday was the biggest loss scoring wise, most goals given up by the Lightning. And actually, they gave up 7 in that game. They only gave up 6 to the Islanders. So it's still the most tied for the most goals we've given up against a team in the NHL this year. So it's really about, can the Lightning come out, get through the, all the pomp and circumstance and the emotion that's going to be there in that building for Brad Marchand hitting 1,000 games. Can they, get out there and play a good first period and play 60 minutes? This team just cannot still play 60 minutes of hockey. So that's what it's going to come down to. It's only 1 point ahead of Toronto in the East and for the third place position. Definitely, it's time. Neither one of these teams, when we talk about these teams, I mean the Leafs and the Lightning, are doing anything to really separate themselves in the Atlantic and in the wild card race. Really, we've got Boston and Florida up top, clearly in the East and the Atlantic, and then the Lightning and the Leafs just don't seem to play like they realize that there's a chance for them to really run away with that third place position in the Atlantic and leave everybody else behind fighting for that wild card spot. Someone's got to give here, because these two teams, both of them, and I know we're talking about the Lightning and the Bruins here, but you can't not talk about the Leafs right now when we talk about playoffs, because that's what we're talking about now. We're talking about the push for the playoffs. We're talking about the last month and a half, 2 months of the season here, 10 weeks, last 10 weeks or so of the season. And that's what matters. Consistent hockey getting into the playoffs. They have to show that they can go in and beat Boston on the road. They have to beat one of these teams that's in the upper echelon right now in the power rankings on the road. If they can't do that, then what's the point of making the playoffs? Because you're not gonna win series in the playoffs, being the third seed or the wild card seed, and not be able to win games on the road. It's just not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. So this has to be a game where the Lightning can come in and, like I said, overcome all the emotion of Brad Marchand playing in his 1,000th game. And they have to realize that this is a game that is a statement for them mentally going forward. This is a signpost game that they can use 4, 5, 6 weeks down the season here when we're really getting close to that playoff push. And they can say, hey, maybe March 27th when we play them again at home. Remember, we beat them on the road. Now we know how to handle this team. We have 1, 2. We still have 2 big road trips coming up, right? Yeah. Well, actually, 1 real big road trip. That's the West Coast. And then we've got a couple of road games peppered in. But for the most part, we're looking at, a favorable home schedule for the rest of the season for the Lightning. But they have to win a couple of road games here. We still have another game in New Jersey, another game with the Islanders. Both of them are on the road back-to-back coming up later this month. So this team mentally for themselves needs to start learning how to win on the road against teams that are better or the best or up in that upper third of the NHL right now. They need to prove it to themselves. Consistency is still the thing that we're looking for in this team, right? Coming out 1 and 2, back-to-back losses. That rough schedule, but at the same time, Coop said it. You got to see more. You got to see more of these guys coming off of a 10-game break, right? Handle business against the lowly Columbus Blue Jackets, which they needed to get back in. They have that 1-point lead now against Toronto, over Toronto in the Atlantic for the third place position. So, again, I don't know what else we can run down here other than the fact that the Bees are starting to struggle. They've come back down to earth from that pretty hot start that none of us saw coming into the season after what they've lost and how they had that historic season last year and then struggled in the playoffs, right? So they're struggling. The Lightning are needing more consistency. This is an opportunity for the Lightning to step up as a team, make a statement. They're pretty much completely healthy as Fleury is back in and Jeannot comes back tonight, minus Sergachev, obviously. Um, Other than that, we're looking at a healthy team. We're looking at no excuses here, I think, for this team to come out here and play a really good game against a team that could be a little bit distracted by some other, storylines. Marchand hitting 1,000 games, them struggling a little bit. Uh, and maybe they realize that, like after last year, kind of like the Lightning did, if you put it all out there during the regular season, what do you have left in the tank when you get to the postseason, right? The Lightning figured out that the hard way. Boston pretty much found out the hard way last season too. So, going into this, really the story of the line is Tanner Jeannot coming back. That's great for us, especially on that fourth line. I like him and Glendening. And we get to see Mitchell Chaffee again, and I like to see him a little bit. He was the player of the week for Syracuse while he was down there during the break playing for them. So the kids definitely got it. We've got some young talent, and it's good to see them coming up and making the impact that they can when they have their opportunities. So that's it tonight, 7 o'clock. Local, 7:06-ish, probably puck drop. Be up in Boston. Lightning at Boston. This is, they're falling back down to earth a little bit. So this is an opportunity for the Lightning to make a statement, get on a run here. Like I said, we've got some home games coming up after this. We've got 4 games at home, regular schedule every other day, 2 days off next week. It's a very favorable schedule the rest of this month for the Lightning. It really is. Minus that back-to-back with the Islanders and Jersey towards the end of the month. It's a very favorable schedule. We play the Avalanche, we play the Panthers, but we play both of those teams at home. We know how the Lightning play at home. So, before we get out of here, we got a little bit of housekeeping to take care of. Let's not forget, everybody head over to monkeycoatcoffee.com. Check out the new barrel-aged wildflower honey. They've also got a new package for 3 bags of coffee. But if you use code STASH10, you get 10% off your entire order. It's actually even a little bit better of a deal than they're offering right now if you buy 3 bags. So it's up for your entire order. Head over to monkeycoatcoffee.com. They've got all the great coffees. They've got all the great swag. The rum cake. I can't say enough about all their products. They're fantastic. Matt over there does great things for the National Pediatric Cancer Foundation. Every bag of coffee you buy, money goes to that worthy cause. Let's not forget about them because they're great supporters of our show, what we do, and this community. They're always giving back. That being said, this Saturday against the Panthers, 5 o'clock at Amalie Arena, it is the first official tailgate for the Sticks of Fire. Yours truly, the Stache, will be cooking up a storm. Brisket, pulled pork, all the good sides and trimmings. We'll be down there early. We'll be hanging out down there. Go over to Sticks of Fire. Find the event if you aren't already there on Facebook. You'll definitely enjoy the time. We'll have a march to the stadium as well. It'll be a great time playing against those stinky kitty cats from down south who think that they have a hockey club, and really it's just, a wannabe movement that we keep seeing them come up short every year. Let's see them come up short one more time at Amalie Arena this Saturday, 5 o'clock. Don't forget, Sticks of Fire tailgate. It's going to be a great time. Everybody, thanks for stopping in. This has been the Bolts Breakdown. Oh, yeah, one more thing. Also, I realize I've been doing these a little bit close to game time. So starting with the Avalanche game coming up on Thursday, I will be doing this more early in the morning or maybe even the night before. So that way I've got a little bit more time to get out there, have some discourse, talk a little bit more about what's going on here. And I do have a free agency thing I want to do. I'm just still waiting for a little bit more news from JBB and waiting for them to pull the trigger on LTIR and everything else with Sergachev. So stay tuned for that as well. I appreciate everybody stopping by, stopping in, supporting myself, supporting Shooting the Stache over there on Facebook. Go catch me, Stache TV on YouTube if you weren't there already. Let's go Bolts. We'll see you later. I'll catch you on Thursday. Until then, be the Thunder, right?